Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session on Continia document capture and expenses management. My name is Eileen Primrose. I'm Head of Dynamic Sales within KIK ICT, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mikael and Martijn from our partner Continia, who we work very closely with and who are hosting this webinar. The session should take around 40 to 45 minutes, and please do enter any questions you have in the question box, as we've left time at the end to cover your questions. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll now hand over to Mikael to get started. Thanks, Mikael.
Thank you, Eileen, for this introduction. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here in this webinar with us. Thank you, Eileen, Beth, KIK, the whole team for of course having us and allowing us to show our great products. So about these products today, we are going to talk about two solutions: document capture and expense management, of course. But before we dive into the solution, we do a couple of PowerPoint slides. Not too much, because nobody really likes PowerPoints, right? So first of all, a short introduction from our side. So as Eileen said, we are Martijn Holterman, that's the handsome guy in the top, and my name is Michiel Eggens, I'm the guy in the bottom. And together we, from Continia Software, we manage our UK customers, our UK partners. Of course, KIK ICT has been a long-time partner from us, and we have a very close collaboration with KIK for many years already. So today we are going to talk about Continia solutions. We have, as you can see, we have 3 solutions. The fourth is coming. Today we will talk about document capture and expense management later on. After these slides, I will perform a short demo on document capture for you. And then Martijn, my colleague, will take over and show you what expense management can do for your company. So like I said, currently we have 3 solutions, the 3 on the left side: document capture, expense management, and document output. Document output is, in a nutshell, is our solution for sending out your documents straight from Business Central, and you can do this batch-wise. The fourth one, all the way on the right side, this is Continia Payment Management, and we have been working for the past months in getting this solution ready for the UK market. And hopefully, if the FCA gives us the final approval, we will launch very soon on the UK market, probably Q4, if not Q4, then Q1 next year. Payment management is there to connect you to the bank. It allows you to submit your payments from within Business Central, and afterwards getting your statements in directly with a direct communication to the bank, get your statements in and automatically reconcile them with the open entries in your system. So soon more on that last one, of course. Our solutions are all there to make you at the finance team more happy and save you some time that you can spend on more relevant and nicer tasks than just data entry. So our solutions are 100% built inside your Business Central, and yeah, hopefully during the demos we will show you how this will what this will look like and what's the benefit of being built inside Business Central. So our solutions aim to reduce 90% of your manual tasks. And yeah, I've seen the list of attendees today, and amongst you, there are several customers already. So you are amongst our 18,000 customers. Thank you for that. And you will probably know and have experienced what this built inside does mean for you as a customer. And if you're not a Continia customer yet, you will experience this during the demo. So about the demo, given the fact we have only 40 minutes, including some questions at the end, I will show you the highlights of document capture today. And I will take you through how easy to use our software is, how we can process invoices. So like Eileen said, if you have any questions during the demo, please put them in the chat box or in the question box you have. And then all the way at the end, after the demos, we will do a Q&A session. Should you require more information, or if you are interested in one of our solutions, I would like to offer you contact your KIK ICT contact person, and we can arrange a more extensive demo for you and your colleagues, of course. So, demo time already. Let me switch my my screen. Nice and smooth. Wait. Yes. All right. So just a quick check. Martijn, maybe you can put your hand up. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can. Couldn't find a hand, sorry.
This is even better. Thank you. Thank you. So like I said, first of all, document capture today. Document capture is our solution for scanning, registering, and archiving of your invoices and credit notes. I will show you in the next 15 to 20 minutes how our software works. As you can see, I opened up a Business Central environment, and this is where we can select the role center. On the left-hand side, we start here. We can see how many documents came in. So how many invoices came in. Invoices can come in via the post. Should you receive them via the post, you can put them on a scanner and send them straight from the scanner straight into your Business Central. And of course, the second method is via email. Vendors can send their invoices to a specific email address for invoicing at companyname.co.uk. Document capture monitors this email address and will download the invoices straight into your Business Central. If you have multiple companies within your database, no problem. Document capture is able to recognize, based on the text that is on the document, to what company it should be distributed to. So we can process PDF files and XML files, no Word and no Excel. Should you receive one, then you can manually transfer them to a PDF before it gets picked up by the software. So that's the information here on the left-hand side. Then here in the middle, we have purchase approval for invoices and credit notes. With document capture, we can, of course, approve invoices and credit notes. Later on, I will get back to this. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, save them for later. Thank you. And then something we have launched like 6 months ago, purchase contracts. In a nutshell, this allows you to handle all your purchase contracts, let's say for lease, utilities, or maybe a LinkedIn subscription that you have running. You can create a purchase contract based on a recurring invoice that you might receive. Create a purchase contract, assign an owner to this contract. You can set up how frequently the invoicing will be, and you can set up how frequently do you want to have this contract reviewed. So let's say you want to have a contract reviewed annually. Once a year, the contract owner will receive an automatic email reminder that he or she needs to review the contract and maybe renegotiate with the vendor. So after the renegotiations have taken place, then we can submit the new purchase contract within Business Central. It can be approved by a manager or a head of purchase maybe, and then you can submit the invoice, and then the invoices can be matched automatically to this purchase contract. So that's about purchase contract. Today we will focus mainly on how to process purchase invoices. I've sent some invoices to my demo email address before this webinar. And as you can see, we have 10 invoices ready to register, waiting in the document journal for me. This is what the document journal looks like. On the right-hand side, we have an image of the invoice. I can enlarge it, or I can make it a bit smaller if I want to. If it contains multiple pages, I can go through the multiple pages over here. Then we go to the left, we can see the to-do list. That's basically all the invoices that we need to process. This is where the template will come here in the middle, and down below we will find some comments appearing. So how does document capture work? We will create a template per vendor, And in this template, you tell the system, how do you want this invoice to be processed? So we can basically process any type of invoice that you might have. Think of simple cost invoices, of course, but we can also capture multiple lines on an invoice. We can match against purchase orders or purchase receipt lines. Of course, we can handle multiple VAT amounts, different currencies, different languages, discounts, you name it, whatever they throw at you, we can capture. In this demo, I would like to show you two types of invoices. We will start off with this, let's say, simple cost invoice. Then I will show you an invoice with multiple lines that we will also match against the purchase receipt lines in the system. So important to know is that you set up a template once per vendor, and after this, the invoices will enter the system automatically. I will show you how to create the template right now. We will start with pressing recognize fields. Before we go through what happened just now, let me point out that document capture also recognized the vendor for you. So how did it do it? When the OCR scanner scanned the document, it found, in this case, the VAT number on the invoice. And with this VAT number, it made a match on the vendor card, in this case with First Up Consultants. So if there's no VAT number, the system automatically, on the invoice, then the system will automatically look further to any other details to make the match. And if there's no match, that's one of the benefits of our solution being fully integrated or built inside Business Central. You can click on the three dots here, and it will open up your vendor list that you have in your system, and you can select the vendor manually, or even create a new one if you have the correct permissions. So we just press recognize fields and we start create the template. Yeah, let's start here on the left-hand side with in the column field. This is the master template that you get with document capture, and this master template already contains the most common fields that can be found on an invoice. You can see invoice number, invoice date, the order number, the amounts, of course. You as a customer, you can adjust this template to your liking. You can add fields, you can remove fields. If it's multiple VAT amounts, you can add an extra VAT field. It's really easy to add fields and create these templates. You don't need Kick ICT for this. You don't need Continia for this. After you have been trained to use the solution by Kick ICT, you can do it yourself really easy. So this is the first time we receive an invoice from this vendor, First Up Consultants. And that's when we need to check all the data that it's captured, because yeah, sometimes the system does make a mistake. It captured the invoice number, and as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the invoice number gets highlighted. In this case, the invoice number is correct. And we move on to the next field, the document date or the invoice date. In this case, also captured correctly. Then the due date. In this case, it has been captured from the invoice, but you can also set up to document capture to honor the payment terms that you have on your vendor card with this vendor. You are in the lead. So you can set this up, do whatever works for you. Our contact. So in this case, it found a contact person as well. There's no order number on this first invoice, so it didn't capture any. The currency code, it's the local currency within Business Central. That's why it's been left blank. The amounts, and there's also a validation on the amounts. So it checks, is this 20% of the amount excluding VAT? And are these two the same as the amount including VAT? We can handle multiple VAT amounts as well. And if it's a vendor with no VAT, then the system doesn't look for it, because under the hood, it looks at the vendor posting groups. The next field, account type. So I can specify an account type here. So in this case, I will select the GL account number, but should it be a purchase contract where I was talking about earlier on, then you can link it to a purchase contract. I will select the GL accounts for now. And I know this one by memory, but if I need to look it up, then I can open up the GL list as well. The system asks, do you want to set this as a default for this vendor? If I press no, I will have to fill it in the next time again. If I press yes, then, which I will be doing right now, then the system will remember it for the next invoice for this vendor. The line posting description. So we can do several things here. Type in something manual or combine fields from the template, but I want to capture this text on the invoice that we see over here on the right-hand side. So what I did, I set my mouse over here, and then in one go with my left-hand mouse button, I'll drag a blue bar around the text, and as a header, I will select the word project. And now Document Capture knows how to capture the line posting description for first-up consultants. Last field, and then we're done with setting up the first template. Invoice, credit memo, or prepayment invoice. The system automatically recognizes what kind of document it is. In this case, it's an invoice. And we do not have any stop signs anymore or any red warnings. So we are ready to register this document. And then you can see that the standard Business Central purchase invoice screen opens up. What did we do? We've added an image here on the right-hand side, image of the invoice. And here we can see all the data that we have captured from the invoice and also the GL account that we set up for this vendor. For now, I will send this for approval. And as you can see, it needs approval by Robin. And later on, we'll get to the approval to show you how that works. Maybe quickly, wrong button. Quickly, another one from the same vendor. The template has been created. So now we can see it remembered the GL account number, and it also captured nicely the line posting description over here. So in one go, we are ready to register and also send this one for approval, reducing the workload of the accounts payable team with a little. The next invoice, as I promised, I would show you an invoice with multiple lines and also an invoice that we will match against the purchase receipt line. So before we create the template about the matching, we can do the purchase order matching, of course, and we can do it in 3 different ways, either on a total amount level, then document capture check the goods and the invoice. If they are both, let's say £1,000, it is a match and it will go through. But the only downside is that you don't know what you ordered. So that's why we have developed a second method, and there you can match on a line level. So if we take a look at this invoice, you can match, did we receive 20 lamps for £25, 5 whiteboards for £700, etc. And this is making your match very accurate. So you can choose if you want to match against the purchase order or the purchase receipt lines, or both if you want to. Okay, so let me show you how. First of all, we press recognize fields again. First invoice for this vendor, so we need to check the data. Trust me, I know this data is correct. I just want to point out that it also captured the order number here from the invoice, which is important to make the match. But first, what I would like to show you is how with document capture we can take these lines of the invoice. And this is what we do in, this is where we do it in the document card. So for now, I will create a template on how to register the lines of this invoice. I will set my mouse over here and I will drag an orange bar with my right-hand mouse button around all the headers. No discount, but we do have a line amount. So now I set up once how I want to capture the lines. If I press recognize fields, then we can see blue bars appearing around the text that is beneath the headers, and we can see that all lines have been captured. So this, of course, if you still do it manual, this will save you a lot of time. Now it is 6 lines, but you can imagine when you receive an invoice with multiple pages and 200 or 500 lines, this will save you a huge amount of time. So you can either choose to now translate them the way you want. So you can translate this to a different item number or to a GL account number. But what I want to do now, because there is a purchase receipt in my system for this invoice, I'm clicking match lines. Because I want to match this invoice to the purchase receipt lines that are in my system. This is the matching screen that you get with document capture. Again, you can see an invoice here on the right-hand side. And here the purchase receipt lines that we have. Filter on order number, and then we can see, yes, all to the same order number, which is very good. And if I then click perform match, then ta-da, it matches 100%. Of course, this is a webinar, a sales webinar. Of course, we want to make you enthusiastic, and it has to look smooth. However, you know that in real life, this will not always be the case, right? There will always be a difference, or not always, but very frequently there will be a difference. If there's a difference, you can spot it in this column, and also the line where the difference is in will not be made bold. So it's really easy to spot the difference for the accounts payable team and take appropriate action. For now, if we go back to the document journal, we can see down below in the comments that this invoice has been completely matched within the document variant. It's important that to tell you that you can also set up tolerances per vendor. And if it's within that tolerance of variance, then it will match, of course. So you can set this up per vendor. In this case, we have 100% match, and then we can register this invoice. And after we have registered it, we send it for approval. If you approve your purchase order, and let's say the invoice matches 100% to the purchase order, of course you can also set up that an approval of the invoice with 100% match isn't necessary. In this case, the approval has also been sent. Yeah, talking about approvals. So with document capture, we can, like I said, we can of course approve your invoices and credit notes. You can either do it within Business Central, or you can use the web portal for this. The difference between these two, functionality-wise, they are the same, but with the web approval portal, you will be able to log in on your mobile device, your phone, or your laptop and approve anywhere you are. As a user, as an approver, you only need a Microsoft team member license to approve within the approval portal. And later on, when Martijn does his expense management demo for you, then you will also see that you can use the web approval portal both for your purchase invoices and also for your expenses. Okay, so the approvers, they receive an email that they have something to approve, and these emails can be scheduled the way you prefer, of course. That can be either one per email, but it can also be one per day, saying you have 10 invoices to approve. How can we approve? Based on an approver and a limit, that's the first method. As an example, within Continia, I can approve up to £500. If it is below the £500, it only goes to me for approval. If it exceeds the amount, then it will go to Martijn as well. Martijn has a higher limit, he can approve up to £1,000. And if it again exceeds his limit, it will go to our manager. Just to give you an example, it will continue based on the hierarchy you will set up. What you can also do, you can set up a fixed approvers per vendor. Vendor number 1 needs approval by only me, and vendor number 2 both from Martijn and me, as an example. And you can approve based on dimension values if you use dimensions. So they receive an email, they click on the link in the email, and then you can see that the web portal in this case opens. So what do we see here in the top? I can see in the archive what did I approve last week. If I need to approve a purchase contract, I can do it here. If I need to approve a sales order, it's also a possibility, you can do it here. If it's expenses, then there would be another button over here for approving expenses. On the far right, I can toggle between multiple companies if I have them. And here I can set up my out of office in case I am going on, I don't know, any kind of leave. So when I forget as an approver, then the accounts payable team will also be able to set up the out of office for me, so that the approval will just continue and it will not get stuck. Let's open up an invoice. As you can see on the right, again, we have an image of the invoice. If I want to, I can download it. As an approver, I also have the ability to add any relevant attachment if I want to. I can add a comment over here, is okay, short and simple. And then all comments will be logged with the invoice, of course, in Business Central. You have some details here of the invoice. the flow that it will take through the organization, the invoice line, of course, and you can set up per approver what he or she can and cannot change about the lines. As an example, if I want to change the GL account, I can do it, but if it's an item number, I cannot do it. So for now, I can approve the invoice. I can also reject it. If I reject it, I have to put in a comment. I can forward the invoice in 3 different ways: approve first and then forward without my approval. And in case I have a question, I can forward it and have it returned to me with the answer, so I can approve or reject. I can put it on hold. Maybe I'm waiting for a credit memo. I put this in the comments, and in that way, the accounts payable team always has a clear overview of where the invoices are within the system. For now, also looking at the time, I will approve, empty my to-do list over here, and then maybe show you what it will look like within Business Central. It's more or less the same. It's the same screen, invoice on the right-hand side, the invoice lines, to-do list, and this is all the functionality that we also saw in the portal. The difference is that if I want to change the document over here and I have the permissions, I can change the documents. So I can now approve them, and then after the approval, the documents will come into the final stage, the release bin, and for this, you can set up a job queue saying every day at 5 o'clock, as an example. All invoices with the status released can be posted. Or you can do it manual, or you can post them in a batch like I'm doing right now. And then after the posting process, document capture stops, and then the normal process will take over again. To find your documents back, you can use the document search button right here in the bottom. And you can search for any word that is on the invoice. In this case, we had a Paris chair. I don't know where I purchased it anymore. I can type in the word Paris chair, and then all the invoices with this word on it will appear, and I can open the related invoices. That's not the only way that we can find your documents back, because we are fully integrated inside your Business Central. We can find them back via the vendor card, of course, the posted documents, the VAT entries, and also for the GL account. But I think I will leave this for now. I hope I've been able to show you, give you like a good overview of what document capture can do for you. And now I would like to ask my colleague Martijn to take over.
Absolutely. Give me the screen.
I give you the screen right now, my friend.
Thank you. Yes.
There you go.
And then a question again. Can you still see my screen as well?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you like the first part of Michiel, and I'm going to do the second part. I'm going to show you expense management. Same as document capture, it is fully integrated into your Business Central, which has a lot of advantages that Michiel also said. And I'm not going to show you a PowerPoint, but really, how does the software work within Business Central? Starting off with how it looks like for the accounts payable team. Then I'll switch over to the role of the expense user, do some approvals and post them. So everything from beginning to end. Please type your questions into the chat box, and in about 20 minutes, I think I'm done. We will answer any questions that you might have. But for now, expense management, fully integrated into Business Central, and your accounts payable team can select a role center, and there they will be able to see a couple of things. On the left-hand side, they will be able to see how many expense reports came in. And what is an expense report? This is something that a user can create if they want to combine their expenses and maybe mileage claims together. For example, Michiel and I are going to a partner event in the UK next week. We created an expense report for this, and we've added our airline tickets to it, our hotel, some food, a taxi from the airport. Once we fly back 2 days later, we will close down this expense report and send it for approval. And then our director can see in one overview, okay, you guys spent £700 during this trip. And later on, when they're seeing the results of the events, they can say, okay, we spent X amount of money, and this is what it brought in, which is great. So really nice to bundle expenses together. Next to that, we will see individual expenses. If Michiel and I are visiting customers in the Netherlands, we usually have like a parking receipt. We expense it as an individual one, and you'll see them coming in over here. Next to that, you will see bank transactions. What we can do with expense management, if you have corporate credit cards, we have an automatic connection with Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. And if your bank allows it, we will be able to upload the transactions directly into Business Central, and then expense management will try to match those transactions to the receipts that the users have sent in. This will save the accounts payable team a lot of time reconciling all of these lines. And it's also, for example, a nice feature. Let's say a user forgets to send in a receipt. That happens, of course. Then the system will notify that user immediately on their app saying, hey, you use your credit card, please add the receipt as soon as possible. More on this later. We can do mileage claims. We see this being used a lot in the UK, and a functionality called per diem. Per diem, you can see this in two different ways. One, you can say, well, people cannot expense their lunch, for example, but we will give them £10 when they're away for the company, and they can basically choose how to spend that money. We also sometimes see with logistical companies that when their drivers are away overnight, they get like £25 extras because they're away from home. And they can say, okay, I was gone for 3 days from home this week. If this then gets approved, they will get £75 extra in their bank account. And all of this can be seen over here. So what I want to start off with, just when Michiel was demoing, I uploaded some credit card transactions to my Business Central. This can of course happen automatically, but I switch it to manual right now. The first time that I do this, I need to assign a card to a user, telling the system, if you see this credit card the next time, it belongs to Lina in our demo system. I have to show this in my demo, but next time you do not have to do this. I select Lina, and then the system asks me, what kind of card did they use? Well, I will say it was a MasterCard. And at this moment, the expense management is checking if Lina sent in any of the receipts for these transactions. If she did, everything is fine, they will be matched, and then they can be sent for approval. If not, she will get a notification on her mobile phone saying, please add the receipts to these credit card transactions as soon as possible. If I now click here on for expenses, it will open up a new screen, and it looks a bit familiar to the document journal that you just saw with document capture, where you create the templates. This is where the accounts payable team will process the expenses from now on. Over here, you can see your to-do list basically. On the right-hand side, there will be the receipts, and down below there will be comments. In this case, it says attachments are missing. That's why it's blank over here. And if I now look at the status, I'll make it a little bit bigger. You can see status pending expense user, which means that this person used their credit card, but they did not send in the receipt yet. So yeah, we are going to do this for them in a demo. Before I'm going to do that, let me take you through these columns and explain a bit to you what information you see with expense management. So the accounts payable team sees the user who submitted the expense. On what date did the transaction take place? How did this person pay? And this is a very important one, expense types. We believe at Continia that people submitting expenses are not finance people, so they do not know what general ledger account something needs to be posted to, how much VAT we can claim back, but we do know, we do think that they can put their expenses in a category. So what you will do as a company, you will create your own expense types, something like this. And behind those expense types, you will code your general ledger accounts and how much VAT you want to claim back. So a user stayed in a hotel, they will select accommodation. Then in the background, in Business Central, expense management will post on general ledger account A and will claim back 20% VAT. I'm now explaining this in a very simple way, but we can bring in a lot of more variations, for example, with low and high VAT, stuff like that. So these expense types are quite important. Next to that, we'll see the description that the user gave or the bank gave us, and we can edit that later on. Users can add attendees to their expense claims. We can see the status. We can see if something has been put on hold, who needs to approve it, the currency code. If it's blank, it's your local currency, the amount in the foreign currency and the amount in the local currency. And we'll use the exchange rate that your credit card company uses when you need to match to a credit card transaction. If a user bought something with their own money, we will use the exchange rate that you have set up within Business Central. Now a nice thing, because we're fully integrated into Business Central, you as a company have the possibility to, add and remove fields to the app yourself. You do not need Kik, Continia, or a developer to do this. want to begin. Kik will show you, of course. But for example, you can add all of your dimensions or your jobs, your job tasks, and you will be able to make that mandatory for your colleagues to fill in a yes or no. So it's really nice that you're really self-sufficient and you do not need a developer to do this or a highly specialized IT guy. The finance team can do this themselves. Now, at the top, the accounts payable team has all the buttons that they need to process these expenses. And I think the message I want to give you now, everything that we can do automatically, the accounts payable team can overrule that and do it like they would like to do it. So for example, if you do not want to claim back VAT on this particular invoice, the finance team or accounts payable team will be able to do that. Now, I will come back to this to Business Central later on. Now I want to switch over to the role of the expense user. So the expense user has two options to submit expenses, and they can do that either via an app that I'm opening right now or via our expense portal. The expense portal and the app have the same functionality, but you can use them in different ways. If I look at myself, I like to book my airline tickets on my laptop, and then I expense it via the expense portal. Once I'm on the road, I collect receipts and I use my mobile phone to do that. So you can use both at the same time. They're synchronized, super nice and easy. The mobile phone, it works on iPhones and it will work on Android phones, and it will look like what you're seeing in front of the screen right now. So what we can do, starting at the top, you can see what company you are expensing in. If you need to expense in multiple companies, you can do a drop down over here and select the company that you like. On the top left, we can put in your company logo. We can then do an expense, we can do a minus claim, we can do per diem or create one of those expense reports. Let's say your company is not using per diem, then it will not be visible to the user, so they cannot accidentally select it. On the bottom left, we'll see our drafts, which I'll be coming to in a second. We can create an expense in a, like I say that, like a quick button over here, and we can see our history. Now, what I want to do, I want to click on new expense. This is what a user would normally do. They will then see all of these fields like amount, date, payment type, expense type, description. Again, you will determine what will be over here. And then normally a user would open up the camera, take a photo of the receipt. And then you can do that by pressing the camera button. They can also click the paperclip button and grab something from their mobile phone, a file or a photo they've taken earlier. If they have a recurring expense, they can create a template for this. So they will fill in all of the details, save it under a certain name. Next month, when that same subscription sends you a receipt again, you can just click on this button, select the template, and everything will be filled in to your liking. In my demo, I have this fourth button over here. You do not have this in real life. Yeah, it is a demo. So let's say I took a picture right now. We like this picture. Then I press select, and then we'll see the word scanning on top. So we've also included OCR into our expense app, and it will try to pick up as much information as it can from the receipt. It will pick up the amount, the currency, the date, and the description. So now the user only has to fill in the payment type. Let's say they bought us with their own money. We can do the expense type. We can, for example, say food with guests. And then what we see that an extra field attendees was added. We can add this field attendees to any expense type that you like. And what I, for example, can do now, I can do the description. Let's say coffee with partner. Oh, I made a typo there. Sorry, partner. And then what you can do, you can now say, well, who did I have a cup of coffee with? And then I can say I had one with Michiel Ergens. And then I can say from Continia. And I will for now say he was a guest. And I'll press save. And now once the approvers see this receipt, they will also immediately see, Martijn had a coffee with Michiel, and Michiel works at Continia. And I love this autocorrect. And I didn't switch it up, I'm sorry. Over here, we see the button Add Allocation Lines. What does this mean? We understand that a lot of receipts have multiple costs on them. For example, when you're staying in a hotel, you probably have hotel cost, food cost, maybe parking. So with Add Allocation Lines, you can split out this receipt over multiple lines. So you can say, I want to allocate £80 to a hotel, £20 to food, £10 to parking. So everything will hit your general ledger accounts in the correct way. We can also add it to a report. We don't have created any yet, but I will do that in a couple of minutes. So now the user is done. Everything is filled in. They can swipe to the right, just like on Tinder, and it's gone. I'm telling you now this now slowly. If I really look at myself, this takes 10 seconds because it grabs almost all the information. I usually alter the description a little bit because that is sometimes a bit plain, and then you're done. So that's super nice and easy. At Continia, internally, I also have a company credit card, and I use it, and I sometimes forget to send in a receipt. That happens. Then expense management reminds me, hey, you use this credit card for these 4 transactions. And now it's super easy. I can say, okay, I got my LinkedIn subscription. A lot of details have been filled in. I just pull on the receipt. This one, yes, that's perfect. And maybe I just say, well, this was a LinkedIn subscription for July 2023. And I press OK, and now I can submit it. So what I really notice is in the past, yeah, you sometimes you're a bit, not that strict with your receipts, and nowadays it's a reminder. I just add a photo and I'm done. Super nice and easy. We can also do mileage claims. We can set up different rules within Business Central, depending on your engine type or your car size. We can add fuel receipts. After 10,000 miles away, it'll drop a little bit. So there's more functionality than I'm showing you right now. And then it will use Google Maps to calculate the route for us. So we would fly into Glasgow Airport. And then what I will do, I'll say we want to visit KIK, I think ICT, yes, in Bells Hill. And then the system will calculate, okay, that is 20 miles, and you can drive like this. So it will also include a copy of the Google Maps picture, which is really convenient. And you can also maybe drive like this or like this if you want to. The user can make manual adjustments to the route, but then this will be the approvers and the accounts payable will be notified of this, saying, well, we calculated 23 miles, but you're claiming 26 miles. Do you want to approve this? And now I will add a description, KIK visit, something like this. And then I can just swipe to the right, and the system will ask me, do you want to create a return trip as well? Continue from there to another place, or just send it? And I'll just send it for now, and then my mileage claim is sent. The per diem, you will define the rates within Business Central and what people will get. And they will say, well, it's gone for one night. And then basically the users can select, well, we've set it up with accommodation, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, that you get a fixed amount for all of these. And they can say, well, the first day we had lunch, we had dinner and transport. And on the second day, well, we had the accommodation, of course, the breakfast and the lunch and the transport, no dinner because we went back home that day. If this now gets approved, the user will get a certain amount of money on their bank account defined by you, and they can basically choose how to spend that. I'll add a description, on-site visit project A. And now I can swipe to the right and it's gone. The last one, but not unimportant, report. We see this being used a lot in the UK. It's really nice to bundle things together. So Michiel and I are going to visit a partner in the UK. I will create a UK partner visit. I will create it. And you can create multiple at the same time. And now you can add expenses, mileage claims, and per diem straight from here, or once you're on the receipt. So let's say we booked a hotel for next week. I booked this with my credit card, and then I can just add the receipt if I like. Yes. And then I will say add this to the report, and then I can say UK partner visit, and I will press save. And now this receipt will be added to the UK partner visit. And if I do a mileage claim as well, I think we're flying into Birmingham Airport, and we need to go to somewhere in Coventry, and I do not know where, but it's for the demo's sake. It's 11 miles driving, customer event like this. And now I can say add this to the report, the UK partner visit, and I press save. And now this is also in the report. So it's really nice if you want to bundle things together. On the bottom right, the user can see in their history what they've submitted so far. If it gets approved, if it gets rejected, all of that will be shown over here. On the top right, the user can add an extra layer of security in the form of a code, for example. We can choose to save images and photos, use only when the Wi-Fi is available. So yeah, This is basically how the app works, and also the expense portal works exactly the same. I've not shown you everything. We can do a lot more cool things like company policies. We have a secretary function. Yeah, there's a lot more, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of how the app works. If we go back to Business Central, nothing has happened. That's because I didn't synchronize yet. In your system, we will synchronize automatically, but in my demo, I do it manually. Now everything will get sent back and forth. And in a couple of seconds, we can now see, if I click on expenses, we can see, there we go, that, well, we have a LinkedIn subscription paid for by the company credit card like this. And we also had a coffee with Michiel, and you get to see the receipt on the right-hand side. And if you click on Michiel's name, you will see the company name. Maybe we can make it a little bit better, like this. And then I will close it down. No, I do not have the rights, but this is a demo thing. So once it's been checked by the finance team, they can be sent for approval, and they can be approved in the same places as the invoice with document capture, so in the web approval portal or within Business Central. The approvers will get an email that they have something to approve, and then we can basically set up one manager per expense user, and that manager will receive all of the expenses, mileage claims, per diems, and expense reports from that person. If you want, we can give that manager a limit saying, well, if an expense exceeds £250, we want an extra pair of eyes looking at it, and then it will be sent to a second approver. If you then click on the approvals, the approver will see, of course, the receipt on the right-hand side, who submitted it, what category does it fall into, how did they pay, and then at the top we can approve it. If they reject it, they need to fill in a comment why, otherwise the expense user doesn't know why it got rejected. They will start calling finance, and get just a hag over everybody. So now if it gets rejected, they immediately know why it got rejected. They can forward it to somebody else, put it on hold if there's a query, add comments, set up your out of office when you're on holiday, see some more details. I'll just approve it. And then also the user will get a notification on their mobile phone saying coffee with partner was approved. Now, once you've approved everything, it will go to status released, and status released expenses can be posted, and we can do that one by one in a batch, or you can automate it with the job queue. What we will do, we will set up users in Business Central either as vendors or as employees, and it will be posted to either of the two. And then you can pay your colleagues whenever you want, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, whatever is your company policy. Of course, if they use a corporate credit card, they will not get paid. Then it will be, I don't know how to say this in proper English, but underwater, it will go to the vendor account of the bank. And then once they collect the money from your bank account, it will be reconciled. So it should be zero at the end of the month. I'm going to post them now. And oh, I do it one by one. That's nice and handy. I'll do one more. You can see the post patch next to it. And now we are finished. So now I've shown you the process in, what is it, 15-20 minutes, very quickly. But a quick recap. In the past, Michiel and I didn't use expense management as well. We would have a nice Excel sheet, put all the receipts in our wallet, and at the end of the month, we would start typing everything in, put it in an envelope, give it to our director. He would go through it, give it to finance. They would check it, type everything in, file it. So a lot of work for everybody. Nowadays, I just take a photo of the receipt. The OCR will take almost all the details that I like. I maybe add something. I swipe to the right and it's gone. My director approves the receipts once a week. Once they are approved, the finance team does a final check, and then they can be posted. They will be archived automatically. And then at the end of the month, I get paid. So it really, really saves a lot of time for all three parties involved. To find back the documents, it is the same way as Michiel did. So you can look it up on the general ledger accounts, the posted documents, the vendor accounts, everywhere where it touches something within Business Central. The only difference with document capture is that we cannot do the full text search yet. That is on the roadmap, but it's not there yet. Now, this is what I wanted to show you in these 20 minutes. I really hope you liked it. Before we get into the questions, if you want to see a more relaxed demo of this with maybe some of your other colleagues, please contact your representative at KIK and they will get this sorted for you. Also, if you want more information about pricing, the team at KIK can do this. KIK has been selling this for a long time now. They've implemented this many times and yeah, they're good at their job. So Eileen, are there any questions from the audience?
Yes, we do have some questions here. One of the first question is, do these apps also work with NAV?
Yes, they do.
Great.
So what we do there is a small but. Last year we created the last version that is compatible with NAV. It almost has all the functionalities that you see over here, but yes, it does work on NAV.
Great, thanks, Martin.
No problem.
And next one we have is, can you process other documents with document capture other than invoices?
That's actually a very good question. Yes, we can. So the OCR can basically read everything. We invest as Continia the most in the invoices category, but we also have a category for sales orders, which basically when a sales order comes in, it will transform it into a sales order within NAV or Business Central. So it will save you all the typing. We can do, how do you say that? I think goods received note is the English word. So if it comes in, we can attach that to a purchase order. We can add documents to a contact card or to a GL document. So there are multiple categories. However, what we say, if you decide to go for this product, first use it for your invoice and credit notes, then practice with that. You're working with it for 2-3 months, then you also know some of the limitations of the system, and then call KIK and they will help you with the other categories.
Super. And another one that says, can you approve on your mobile phone for expenses and document capture?
Yes, you can. That's where Michiel showed you the web approval portal. He showed it on his laptop, but if you open this on your mobile phone, it will look like an app and you can use it both for the expenses and the invoices. And the nice thing is you only have to buy it once and you can use it for both products.
Super. And last one, do expense users need a Microsoft license?
No. So that is a good one as well. No, you do not need to have a license to submit expenses or use the app of, you do not need it. Only people approving and working within NAV or Business Central need to have a license. Super,
thanks for that. And that's all that we have in terms of the questions. So okay. I'd just like to say thank you to you and Michiel. That was a great presentation, and I'm sure everyone will be able to see how much time that can be saved with expense management and document capture. And I'd just like to thank everyone as well who joined the session. We hope you enjoyed it. And that's all for us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice day, all.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.